Hello everyone and welcome to another knit and chat. I know it's been a long time since I made one of these videos, but today I am finally getting back to it. Really excited to get back into the swing of making knit and chat videos and just videos on this channel in general. So today we are going to talk about updates. So stash busting updates, updates with my finished objects, works in progress, all that kind of stuff. And if you didn't hear it from the last knit and chat, my kind of plan to structure these videos going forward is to do one knit and chat has the updates for the month and one has the plans for the next month, and they'll kind of flip-flop like that. So this is an updates video. I have lots to talk about and I'm really excited to get into all of it. So grab a cup of something nice to drink and let's chat. Starting off with the stash busting. Just to start off, I want to note that I'm going to be talking about updates from the last 3 months since I last updated. There's not a ton to talk about, honestly. I've had a really busy couple of months. That's why I haven't been uploading. So I just wanted to lump everything together and get it all discussed and talked about out of the way so that you know what's been going on since I've been gone. Let's start off with the stash busting updates. In May, I used one skein, so that brought our total down to 153 skeins total. In June, I also used one skein, so we got down to 152 total. So making okay progress, definitely not anywhere near my goal of using 60 skeins by the end of the year because we started with 165 skeins. So by the end of June, we were sitting at 13 skeins used total. And then July came. So I haven't bought yarn for months. I've been kind of on a soft yarn buying ban where I had kind of loose rules as to when I could and couldn't buy yarn. For example, I have a souvenir sweater. I am collecting skeins of yarn to make the rainbow jumper, which I have been slowly chipping away at the collection for. And so something like that, I am happy to purchase yarn because that's for a specific reason. I also wanted to, if there's ever a really good deal on yarn, then I am happy to let myself pick that up if it's something that I can genuinely see myself using. July wasn't like that. So I haven't bought yarn since February. It's been a long time, which I'm very happy with. But in July, I was having a little bit of a rough month. I started a new job in May and it's been kind of a struggle to get used to, and I decided to let myself get yarn for a specific sweater that I wanted to make, and that ended up giving us 13 skeins added. And actually it ended up being 14 skeins because then I found a skein when I was traveling for my souvenir sweater. Unfortunately, in July, we added 14 skeins to the stash. Luckily though, this was a really good stash busting month for me, and I was able to use up 5 skeins. I kind of offset that a little bit. I don't know though, it's still not great. My total now is 161 skeins, so we are back up almost to where we started. We are 14 skeins down from what we started with. I'm a little bit disappointed in that, but I do think it was worth it to buy the yarn. I really needed that kind of pick-me-up, and I've been really enjoying the project that I bought the yarn for. We are going to talk about that in just a minute, but yeah, I don't regret my purchase. I just am a little bummed that it did make such a dent in the progress that I had made. Okay, so moving right along into the finished objects. For the last 3 months, somehow, I haven't finished a single project. I don't know how that is. I truly don't know what happened that I didn't finish a single project in 3 months. I'm guessing it's probably again to do with the fact that I've been really busy the last 3 months, but I've been working on projects all the time, so I don't really know where that gap kind of happened where I didn't finish anything. So unfortunately, nothing to talk about there, but I have made progress on things, and I'm hoping that I will be able to share some of that with you soon. I'm closing in on finishing a couple of projects, so hopefully you will see them soon. Now that we've talked about the stash busting and the finished objects, let's talk about my works in progress. So here's the thing, and we're gonna touch on this a bit later, but I have a ton of works in progress. I have selected just 4 that I want to talk about today because I don't want to be sitting here for eons talking about every single project that I have. I just picked some that were relevant to the recent knit-in chats or that I especially want to share with you. So I have 4 to talk about. Let's start start off with the hat project. If you've seen my last knit and chat, you might have seen me talk about the fact that I really wanted to crochet myself a little hat. I felt like it'd be a really great summery piece and good to, I don't know, have for the summer weather, and I don't know, I just was in the mood for crocheting a little hat. So I picked out a pattern. I think I was between two patterns in the last episode, but I did end up picking a pattern called the Clover Top Hat, and it had kind of a lace work design to it on the crown of the head. So unfortunately, that project didn't work out. I got nearly done. Like, I had a little bit of the brim left to go and then I would be done. But I was just looking at this hat and realizing this thing has no shape. It was like a doily. It wasn't a hat. It was a doily. I'll put a picture up of what it looked like because it looked ridiculous. And I read through the pattern to see like, oh, maybe there's instructions to go through and kind of add more structure to the hat, or maybe you add a kind of drawstring to kind of draw it back in and make it more hat shaped. There was nothing. It was kind of just, you make the hat and that's it. I'm looking at this hat project that is just a completely flat piece of fabric, no shape to it. Like, it would work great as a table setting, but not as a hat. And I realized that I didn't really want to try and figure out what I did wrong. If I did anything wrong, I didn't want to figure out how to make the pattern work. So I just took it all out and I picked a different pattern. I ended up deciding to do something a little bit different. Instead of doing a lace work or kind of detailed crochet pattern, I decided I wanted to do a very basic base hat and then add some kind of decoration to it. So I think that I'm going to add maybe fake flowers because I have a lot of fake flowers from my wedding. So I picked out a very basic hat pattern to use. So it's called the Toltec hat and bag set. I don't think I'm going to be making the bag. I think I'm just going to make the hat, but this is I think it's a 1950s pattern. It is free on Ravelry. It's been fine enough. There's nothing really special about it. Here is the hat so far. This one definitely has more shape to it. I'm currently working on kind of a brim situation to it. It doesn't have very much of a brim, just a very short one, but I think that'll be still pretty cute. I think that this could use maybe some starching because it's very floppy and I don't really know how it's gonna work on my head. It doesn't look great in this state because it doesn't have the brim or anything, but it is coming along. It definitely has more shape to it than that original pattern. But yeah, I just wanted something really basic, almost boring, I guess, so that nothing took away from the added pieces with the flowers or ribbons or whatever I end up doing. Nothing would distract from those and it would be kind of simple and elegant. So this is the hat up close. It's just a bunch of double crochets. It's a very, very basic pattern, which is exactly what I was looking for. Very easy to follow. I'm using this yarn. This is Aunt Lydia's crochet cotton. I don't remember the color or anything. If I can find that information, I will definitely put it up on the screen for you. But this is just basic crochet cotton, nothing too special. It's a really pretty blue color, which is one of my favorite colors, is this particular shade of blue. I think that I'm gonna have quite a bit of this left over when I'm done with this hat. I've definitely used a good amount of this yarn, but by the time that this is done, I don't think that this is gonna be empty, so I might make some other kind of hair accessory out of this yarn. I've seen really cute bows, little hair clips and things, all vintage patterns, so I might end up making one of those out of the leftovers. We'll see where we're at when we're done with this hat project. I'm hoping to finish this up soon. I've just been a little bit procrastinating it because it is kind of boring. That's my own fault for picking a pattern that's all double crochets. Hopefully I will be done soon though, and I'll have this cute little hat in my wardrobe. The next project that I want to talk about is another one that you have seen before in my knit and chats, and that is the Moby Sweater Man by Petite Knit, which I am knitting for my husband. And I wanted to update you on this because I have finally joined for the body. So I think the last time you saw this, I was maybe working on the front panels around the shoulder and front yoke area, but now I'm finally at the point where I have joined in the round. and now I'm not working back and forth, I'm just working in the round. So this is what I have so far. It's getting to a really good size. Up close of the details on here. It has lots of texture, which I really love. It really keeps it interesting when you're working on it to have all of these different charts to follow and all of this texture to work on. I think it's going to make for a really, really good knitwear piece. And I know that my husband is really going to like it. He already really likes how it looks so far and he's excited to wear it. So this is really slow work, but it is really entertaining. It's really fun. Even though it takes a long time because of how much texture there is and because of how many stitches there are, even though it's pretty complex and pretty tedious, I'm really enjoying this process, and I'm not going to speed it up because I'm having a good time with it. This is the yarn that I'm using for this project. This is Loops and Threads Luxe Merino in the color navy. This is a blend of wool and acrylic. It is 55% superwash merino and 45% acrylic, and it's very soft, also very affordable, which I really like. I think I purchased 5 skeins of this yarn and I'm nearly done with my first skein, that much left of it. So hopefully this will go towards the stash busting counts soon. I have gotten a surprising amount of this sweater knit out of just 1 skein, and I don't know that I'm actually gonna need all 5 skeins. That seems like quite a lot to me, so we'll definitely have to see. I'm really enjoying this project. It's a really fun one for me. I love just bringing this basket around and my iPad with my charts on it and just working through it, listening to an audiobook or something. It's such a relaxing project and I would highly recommend it. Okay, the next project that I want to talk about is one that you haven't seen before. Actually, the next 2 projects are. And this was a very spontaneous project. I didn't really have any plans to be making this one, but one day I just decided that I wanted to have this piece, or I wanted to have a piece like this pattern. It's nearly done. I just need to attach the sleeves, weave in the ends, all that kind of stuff. And this was also a really good stash buster piece because I used one of my bigger skeins. It was one of these Karen cloud cake yarns, 100% polyester yarn. It is in the color Peaceful. I've had this for a while. I got it on sale, so I wanted to just use it up finally, and I wanted to make a little wrap cardigan to put over other clothing, especially when we get to fall and it gets a little cooler. I wanted to have something to wear over other pieces in my wardrobe. I have one specific dress in mind for this project. This is the project. It's a little hard to show you, but this is a little wrap cardigan. It just wraps around the front. The pattern is called the Beach Ballet Top, a free pattern on Ravelry. It was very quick. You crochet everything in panels and then sew them up together. So I have this, and then I also have the 2 sleeves to go on here. I just need to assemble this and weave in my ends, and then I'll be done with it. Because this was a stash buster project, I was cutting it a little bit close with my yarn, and so I did change the sleeves a little bit. The original sleeves have kind of a lacework detailing on them, but I didn't have enough yarn to do that for both sleeves. So instead I kind of free-handed a little puff sleeve situation, which I think is maybe hard to see what's going on because it's not attached to anything, but it'll be kind of a little puffed cap sleeve, and I think it's gonna look pretty cute. And I was able to get both sleeves out of the remainder of the yarn that I have. This is the project up close. I don't know how well the colors are going to show on camera, but it's kind of a green color. It has a couple different shades of green. It's really pretty. This yarn is really nice and soft, and I think this will be a nice piece to, again, just throw over other clothes in my wardrobe, especially that one dress that I have in mind. I think it'll be really nice to have when the weather starts cooling down a bit and I want something to throw over. Also, this is a modern pattern, but I do think that it looks a little bit vintagey because of the wrap design. I have seen a couple of vintage wrap cardigans which I really like, and also the slightly puffed sleeves I think give it a little more of that vintage vibe. Definitely not authentically vintage, but I don't know, I'm allowed to make modern patterns. My primary interest is always going to be vintage patterns, I think, but sometimes I want to branch out. Sometimes I want to make a modern pattern, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Yeah, just have to assemble this one. Hopefully I will be able to show you the finished project next month. Yeah, this was a super fast project. I made it in a couple of days. All right, and then the last project that I want to talk to you about today is another one that you haven't seen before, but I wanted to talk about this because it is the reason for the added skeins, the 13 skeins that I bought. This is the project, is folded up. This is part of a hexagon cardigan. The pattern is a free pattern on YouTube. This is kind of what it will look like. So you make one half at a time. You make a really big hexagon, and then you're able to kind of fold it in half, and it creates this little L shape that makes your body and your sleeve for one side, and then you just make a second one for the other side. So this is it so far. This pattern has been flying by. I've been having so much fun making this. It's a very fast pattern. You kind of do a granny stitch for the hexagon, and it's really easy, really fun to do. Yeah, I have the other half of this cardigan to make. I've started the second half. This is what I have so far for that second half. You can kind of see maybe or maybe not the little hexagon shape, and then you can also see when I fold it up, it makes a tiny little cardigan side. Again, this is in that light blue color that is one of my favorites ever. This has been super fun to work on. I picked this pattern because I really loved the drape and the style and the shape of the pattern. I'm not a big fan of the other hexagon cardigans I've seen where it really gathers in the wrists to make it very puffed. I don't know, I'm not the biggest fan of those, but I really like the drapiness of this one where the sleeves are really wide and open, and that might not be the most practical, but I think it's just beautiful. I can't wait to have this. There will also be a little bit added to the end of each sleeve, and then crochet down the front, and then little bows to tie the front, made from this darker blue color, if I can get it to focus. There we go, which I think is really beautiful, and I think it also goes really good with the lighter blue. So I'm excited to add that on. Oh, also the yarn that I'm using. I am using the Hobby Friends Cotton 8-4. One color is number 76 and the darker blue is number 79. These are 100% cotton, so it's very breathable, really nice and soft, and I don't know, I just really love natural fibers, so I'm excited to be using this for this project. They are pretty small skeins. They're 50-gram balls, so they're about 174 yards each, which is why I needed so many of them. So this is my bag of them. I only have about half the yarn left, so I have 5 of these light blue skeins. I originally had 10, and now I have 5 left, plus the like remnants that I have on that piece earlier that I showed you that was in progress. And then I bought 3 of the darker blue, and I still have all of those because I haven't broken into any of these yet. But yeah, this project is flying by. I'm really excited to finish this up and to show you, and I'm really excited to have this in my wardrobe. I wish you could feel this cotton. It's so soft and comfy. I'm really excited for fall weather to be able to wear this, and I think it's also going to be a really pretty color combination. I don't know, I'm super excited for this one. This is probably, out of everything I'm working on right now, this is probably the one I'm most excited for, which is also, I think, a reason that it's been going by so quickly, because I have been so motivated to work on it. So maybe soon I will be able to show you the finished project for this one, and I'm really excited to get to that point. Now that we've talked about all of my works in progress, I just want to briefly touch on some thoughts that I have for the rest of August. I definitely want to focus on working on my stash busting. I've been kind of slacking, as you can probably tell from May and June only having 1 skein used each. And of course, because I bought 14 skeins. Now I have fallen behind a lot, so hopefully I can finally work on that and get to a better point. Maybe I could get to my pre-July count again by the end of August. I think if I really buckle down and work through my stash intentionally, then I would definitely be able to use up a lot of skeins and hopefully get back to that number, especially if I finish up that Hexagon cardigan, because that's the reason that we're kind of in this mess to begin with. I think if I used up the rest of those skeins, then we'd be at a much better place, and I think that it'd be a little easier to pick back up from there. I also really want to work on getting through my 10 million works in progress. Like I said before, I have a ridiculous amount of works in progress. It's kind of silly at this point how many things I have on the needles or how many things I've started crocheting. I'm supposed to have a little drawer in my entertainment center that is dedicated to works in progress, but you can't see it, but all around me are extra ones that won't fit into that drawer because I just have so many and it's ridiculous. So I want to work on actually finishing things, on finally knocking out a couple of things that are nearly done, and hopefully I'll be able to update you a lot about finished objects next month. I also have an idea for a new video that I want to make that's kind of surrounding that and working through my 10 million projects. If you're interested in seeing that, do let me know in the comments. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you sticking around through all of my yapping if you made it this far into the video. Let me know what you have been working on. I'm really excited to get back into these little knit and chat videos and get back into updating you about all of the things that I'm making. I know there was less vintage projects and things to talk about in this video, but I hope that it was still interesting for you. I will be back, I think, next week with a new video. Fingers crossed. Thank you so much again for being here. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you next week.